how did you become an author?
I wrote a book. I used to be a pharmaceutical scientist and wrote a book. That book did really, really, really well. Hit the New York Times best-selling list for multiple weeks. It won the Coretta Scott King Author Honor Award. And my publisher, Disney, said, "Hey, we would like you to write more books." So I was able to quit my job.
Isn't that so great? Oh my gosh, I love that story. Okay, and so what was the first book?
It was Tristan Strong Punches a Hole in the Sky.
A children's book.
It was. It's for middle grade, 8 to 12.
Okay, let's get right to Black Boy Joy. What does that mean?
Yeah, I think it means different things to different people. But to me, Black Boy Joy means the ability to live, laugh, and love free of external judgment and opinions, just freely. And I think that's something that sometimes we can be afraid to do.
Mhm. And so you wrote the book with that title, but is it, help me get this right, because I looked it up. Is it part of the 17 books? Is it one of the chapters, or is it that's the book and the other chapters are in it?
So Black Boy Joy is an anthology. So what you have is I got 17 or well 16, 17 including myself, good friends, authors, Black male and non-binary authors. We got together, we wrote 17 short stories from fantasy, contemporary, science fiction. And the only unifying concept is I asked them to tell me how do they navigate towards joy. And you'll find different pathways, different routes each author has taken, but they all move towards joy, which I think is the most important part of this book.
Are you surprised by its success?
I am. What's the adage? I am. I was shocked that it debuted at #1 on the New York Times bestselling list, but I was not surprised because joy. You can't deny joy, and I think everyone celebrates joy. I think everyone can remember a moment when someone else was joyful and their joy brought a smile to your face. And that's what I think this book has done for a lot of people.
But there's joy, but I think Black Boy Joy speaks to a lot of people on a lot of things.
It does. And it's something because we deal with concepts such as toxic masculinity all the time, where we're constantly told, I was constantly told the phrase, man up, men don't cry, withhold your emotions, be stoic, be, serious, walk it off, shake it off, right? And we do such a disservice and an injustice to our children and to our boys specifically when we tell them that, because we're asking them to repress and deny a part of themselves, which is essentially, what is necessary to be human. We can be sad, we can be angry, we can be joyful, and we can be happy. That totality of emotions is what makes us a living being, a living person. And to deny that, it's almost like we're limiting and constraining ourselves. And when we tell our children this and they internalize that, they are damaging themselves each day that they allow that to happen.
So why do you think that title spoke to so many people?
It's, it has long been a hashtag, a term. I believe it was coined by Danielle Young of The Root online magazine a while ago. And it's just, when you say Black Boy Joy, you instantly know what it is. It's someone celebrating, dancing, laughing, happy, crying, excited. And those are, as a parent, that's something that I want to encourage. I want to see that every day in my children. And for the Black community as a whole, when we come together like that, that's something that we want to see in our children, whether, they're blood related or just, the neighbor down the street. I want to see them happy. And I think that's what this phrase really invokes. when we say it and when we wish it upon others.
You know, if you look at Instagram, or see, if you look on the computer and you do hashtag Black Boy Joy, you'll see pictures of adults, gay couples, a mother and a child, children, but your book targets middle-aged school. Is that right?
It does. It does. And the middle grade age range is, it's such a nebulous time. It is so much is happening, right? In between the ages of 8 and 9 and 12 and 13, you know, we're entering middle school. We are developing a consciousness that extends beyond, an awareness that extends beyond my house, my family. Now we're realizing we have my neighborhood, my community, my city, right? We are still childlike in our innocence, but we're aware that there's more going around us. The headlines start making a little bit more sense. The conversations our parents are having about bills, about what's going on in the news, start making a little bit more sense. So targeting that age range, I just wanted to help bring a little bit of levity, a little bit of calmness, and almost like a little bit of an instruction book on how these kids could find their own pathways to navigate towards joy.
So you're a husband.
I am.
And a father.
Absolutely.
How old is your child?
Hold on, let me check. I have their names tattooed on me. I have a 14-year-old, a soon-to-be 12-year-old, an 8-year-old, and a 2-year-old who's going on 30.
Okay, so is this book for your children?
This book, it yes and no. I wouldn't be, you know, so selfish as to dedicate it to just those children. But I see a child in my mind, you know, whenever I think about Black Boy Joy, this book. And that child is someone who come home and sees, you know, terrible news on the television, or comes home or checks their phone and sees terrible trending headlines. Someone who sees the cameras in their neighborhood when terrible things happen, but there are no cameras around when they hit a backflip for the first time, when they get perfect A's on their report card, when, you know, someone when they do something successful. This book was me saying, children, we see your joy when no one else does.
Oh, that is beautifully said. Well, let me talk about the current events here in Los Angeles. I'm sure you heard that our councilman so emotionally spoke about Black Boy Joy. Your thoughts when you heard that?
It's, you know, it's one of those things where I wish the conversation happens under different circumstances. I wish we could talk about joy just to talk about joy, and not as a counterweight to something negative that has transpired, right? I want the book to be read. I want the book to be shared. I want the term Black Boy Joy to be thrown around freely, not just because pain is what preceded it. So the words the councilman spoke were powerful, necessary, and hopefully a wake-up call to many. Um, I hope and wish that we can say those same things 3 months down the line when someone gets 30 scholarship offers and graduates summa cum laude. Like, I want this to be ever present, not only present when it's needed.
Mm-hmm. So this father, Mike Bonin, councilman, is going through so much emotional pain. Your book focuses on joy, the joy of Black boys. What would you say to this father to uplift him right now?
I would say, you know, in each of the stories of the book, they start in different places. Just because we're moving towards joy doesn't mean we start in a place of joy. And that's why I say we try to navigate towards it. We can start in a place of suffering, of pain, of frustration, right? But the important thing is to chart that journey upwards, right? To recognize, you know, those navigational milestones that indicate towards us that we're moving towards a place of joy, right? And sometimes it's the simple things. It's a child's laugh, right? Sometimes it's just a perfectly executed, in my opinion, dad joke, that I might, happen to be a professional at saying. But it's important to remember that sometimes we just have to remember what centers us, whether that's family, whether that's career, whether that is the beauty that exists all around us. I'm in North Carolina. It's fall. Everything is, it's beautiful. I just think that the pain will lapse. I hope that the joy remains, though.
Mhm. Where did you grow up?
I'm a Midwesterner, which is why I value the North Carolina autumn right now versus the
Mhm.
Milwaukee winters that I experienced.
Well, you have to come back
So
to visit Los Angeles.
listen, I would love to. I would absolutely love to.
Okay, so let me ask you this. So Mike Bonin said one of his concerns is that his 2-year-old child will grow up one day to read these headlines. What would you say to this child who would read these headlines?
I would say I would say absolutely read them. I would say absolutely read those headlines. See um, what the journey of your life, what the world was like as you were moving through it, oblivious. Sometimes we shelter our children. We want to protect them from the evils or the pain that the world can cause, which I think is a valid objective. But we have to know where we have come from in order to recognize the destination that we're trying to get to. So read those headlines, but don't let those headlines be the only thing that you read, right? Don't let the pain be the only thing you surround yourself in. Make sure you balance it with happiness and joy, because I promise you, there are some joyful headlines tucked in there as well.
Absolutely. Well, so many people may know the term Black girl magic, but for some who maybe didn't know Black boy joy, is it equivalent to that?
I think the two things circle each other and they work together in concert, right? This ability to extract power from the culture within the Black community, right? The magical things that exist and that can happen when our girls and when our children get together, the power and the amazing opportunities and the amazing ability for our boys and our children. I make sure not to separate them by gender because our boys are magical and our girls are joyful as well. But they work together. I feel like they are cornerstones of our community, right? And we are building something strong. The youth is the future, right? The youth is the future. And when we have that magic and that joy, powerful things are built.
And I'm guessing you're thinking this whole LA City Council scandal is a teaching moment. Am I right?
I think so. I sometimes I wish that the people that suffer do not have to be the ones that teach all the time, right? I wish we did not have to use our pain as a lesson, but this is something that hopefully we grow out of stronger. Just because something terrible happened in the soil doesn't mean the tree can't grow even stronger when the roots reach deeper.
And Kwame, do you have more books in the works?
I do have more books in the works. It's not only the Tristan Strong trilogy or the Last Gate of the Emperor duology. I have something new, something very exciting coming very soon with Disney. I can't spill the beans just yet.
Okay.
I can't, but it's coming. I promise.
Well, that might bring you to LA right there, Disney.
Okay, from your mouths to Disney executive ears.
Yes, yes, yes. And so in the meantime, you're doing your book tours and your speaking events.
School visits. I love school visits. I love getting in front of the children and the young readers and the young writers and talking to them about what this career has brought me and what they could possibly do with it as well.
And you worked in pharmaceutical, is that right?
I did, yes.
Could you ever imagine this is your life?
Absolutely not. No, it was a dream. I've always been a writer, but to publish stories for children to read and to take pictures with these kids who think that for some reason I'm their favorite author, like it is an absolute dream come true.
Am I seeing some Black boy joy right here?
maybe just a little bit. Maybe just a little bit.
Yes. Well, so nice to meet you. Is there anything else you'd like to add before I close it up?
Um, I always give this analogy, and because some people, they see the book and they're like, well, is it only for, the Black community? Is it only for Black boys? And what I say is this: there have been times when you've gone to someone else's birthday party and had an amazing time. Even though you are celebrating them and uplifting them, you are having fun as well. And that's what I say this book brings to the community at large. Have fun, get a little bit of cake. We're going to send you home with a goodie bag. It's going to be a great time.